Hello children, hope so you all are fit and healthy. So today in our class we are going to discuss how to frame affirmative, negative and interrogative sentences in simple past. Fine. Yes, the main points to remember in present simple are with the plural subjects we use do or do not, and with the singular subjects we use does or doesn't. And in the negative sentence, always remember that we are supposed to add not not after the auxiliary verb. Like for example, do not, does not. Fine? And in the interrogative sentences, the auxiliary verb comes at the beginning, and then comes the subject, and then comes the verb, and then finally object and. Yes, always remember to put a question mark at the end of the sentence. Now, let us see about past simple. What is a helping verb or the auxiliary verb we use in simple past? Did, did, with all the subjects. With all the subjects we use did, did. Very good. Now, let us see how to form an affirmative sentence in past simple. Let us see the structure first. The structure is subject plus verb, and we are supposed to add d or ed or ied to the verb, and then comes the object. And when to use ed and ied? You all know, right? When to use ed? If the verb is ending in a vowel followed by y, in that case we are supposed to add ed to the verb. And if the verb is ending in consonant followed by y, in that case we have to remove y and we are supposed to add ied. But there are some irregular verbs. Those irregular verbs do not follow this rule. In such case, the complete verb will be changed. Okay? Now let us see some examples. They lived. They lived here. We played football. I carried the bag. She wrote a story. If you observe the last sentence here, wrote. Wrote is past form of write. Yes, it is an irregular verb, so it doesn't follow D, ED or IED rule. Fine? Now, let us learn how to frame sentences, negative sentences in past simple. So, as we already know, what is the helping verb we use in simple past? Did. And as it is a negative sentence, we all know that we are supposed to add not, but when? Immediately after the auxiliary verb. So the structure is subject plus did not plus verb plus object. Let us see some examples. They didn't live here. We didn't play football. I didn't carry the bag. She didn't write a story. These all are negative sentences in simple past. Now let us learn how to frame interrogative sentences in simple past. Let us see the structure first. Did or didn't plus subject plus verb in the first form plus object, and then at last comes the question mark. And as we all know, while framing the questions, the auxiliary verb comes at the beginning, and then comes the subject, and then comes the verb in the first form, and then we are supposed to write object ending with a question mark. Now let us see some examples. Did they live here? Didn't they live here? Did we play football? Didn't we play football? Did I carry the bag? Didn't I carry the bag? Did she write a story? Didn't she write a story? Etc. Now, Let us see some more examples. Your first one. Jim likes the stranger. This is an affirmative sentence. And let us change it into negative. Jim doesn't like the stranger. Now, let us form interrogative sentence. Does Jim like the stranger? Doesn't Jim like the stranger? One more example. You sing well. You is followed with do. Very good. And to frame negative sentence, we are supposed to add not immediately after the auxiliary verb. You don't sing well. Now let us frame interrogative sentence. To frame an interrogative sentence, we are supposed to write the auxiliary verb at the beginning of the sentence, and then comes subject, and then comes the verb, and then object. Do you sing well? Question mark. Don't you sing well? Question mark. Now, one more example in simple past. Jim narrated his story. So, what is the auxiliary verb we use in simple past tense? Did. And to frame a negative sentence immediately after did, what are we supposed to write? Not. So, the negative sentence will be subject plus did not plus verb in its first form plus object. So, the sentence will be Jim did not narrate his story. Now, let us see the interrogative sentence. For interrogative sentence, we all know that auxiliary verb comes in the beginning. Did, and then comes the subject, Jim, and then comes the verb, narrate, and then comes the object, his story, question mark. Did Jim narrate his story? Now, the negative interrogative sentence will be, didn't Jim narrate his story? Beautiful. Now, hope so you all understood the topic well. So, keep practicing and keep framing more and more sentences that will help you a lot. So, stay home, stay safe. We shall meet in our next class.